Good day. My name is JP or PJ, and I am your second year Human Services student here at San Pedro College. For my midterm activity number 2, I am incredibly excited to present my project entitled Making Sense of Growth from Interview to Theory. This presentation isn't just about textbook definitions. It's about applying real life psychology frameworks to a real person. Let's make sense of how people grow. First, let me introduce you the subject of this study. For confidentiality, we're going to call her Jen. She's a 20-year-old, brilliant human service driven woman who is currently neck deep in her fourth year medical technology internship right here in Davao City. She's your typical emerging adult. Her hobbies are quiet and restorative, focusing on reading books, watching movies, and honestly, a lot of sleeping. But here is the secret weapon of this study. I have been Jen's childhood best friend for years. I've known her since we were kids playing in the street. This connection was so important because it means she didn't have to be shy with me. She was 100% honest, sincere, and vulnerable. As her best friend, I've seen her transition from a school aged kid to the resilient professional she's becoming. This interview was a safe space for true discovery. Before we get into the theories, we must look at her reality. What is Jen's life like today? To be brutally honest, her typical day right now is a lot. Being a medtech intern isn't glamorous. She used words like exhausting and stressful. She told me that her clinical duties leave her feeling unmotivated sometimes because she faces a constant daily grind. When your participant tells you she is in a state of a stress day always, you know she is facing a developmental crisis that is physically and emotionally demanding. This context is what we need to analyze using psychological theories. Let's break down the data from two of the primary developmental domains. The physical domain. As her childhood best friend, I've noticed the physical changes in Jen. She shared that she is intentional in losing weight, but she confessed it's been a very hard time for her, likely made harder by the fatigue of her clinical duties. However, her body is reaching a stable, healthy plateau. She mentioned her menstruation has been regular for 5 months, which is a key physical milestone of a late adolescence. The cognitive domain. This is where Jen truly shines. She doesn't just study to pass. She's in love with clinical microscopy because she wants to understand the human body beyond the surface. But she isn't a lone wolf. When homework is tough, she has the self-awareness to reach out to her classmates and peers for collaborative problem solving. This shows she is a resourceful and adaptive learner. Next, let's explore her socio-emotional domain. This is the heart of any best friendship. Jan identifies her family and friends as the single most important people in her life. Why? Because she sincerely believes they are the great factors that helped her grow. As her childhood best friend, I've seen the support system firsthand. However, her social dynamics change depending on the room. With family, conflicts are solved naturally and are non-vocal. With friends like me, she is far more communicative and will talk things out. This adaptation shows she understands different social rulebooks. Her greatest emotional victory right now is her pride in having survived to her fourth year and being on the verge of graduation, even on the days she feels unmotivated. Now, let's move from data to psychology. At 20 years old, Jen is not a dependent child, but she isn't fully an independent adult with a mortgage and kids yet. She fits Jeffrey Arnett's stage of emerging adulthood, which typically spans from 18 to 25 years old. Jen is the heart of two key features of this stage: identity exploration and possibilities. She is exploring her professional identity as a medic and looking forward to the possibilities of going abroad. This stage is a beautiful bridge, allowing her to test the waters of adulthood while still having the safety net of her family and friends. Let's look at Erik Erikson's theory of identity versus role confusion. This is the core task of adolescence and emerging adulthood. Jen is successfully navigating this challenge. By committing to her graduation and setting a clear professional goal, she is not confused about who she is. She is solidifying an identity as a hardworking and valuable member of the medical community. Having known her since childhood, I can see how she built this sense of self from the ground up. She didn't always have this clarity, but her perseverance has built a powerful adult identity that she can be proud of. Our next theory comes from Lev Vygotsky and his ideas on scaffolding and the zone of proximal development. This theory argues that we learn best through social interaction. Remember how Jen mentioned that she asks classmates and peers for help when homework is difficult? That is scaffolding in action. Those classmates are her more knowledgeable others in that moment. Her cognitive development is not an individual journey, it is a collective one. This proves that her intelligence is deeply influenced by the supportive sociocultural environment she has chosen. The final theoretical lens is from Jean Piaget and his formal operational stage. In this final stage, people move away from concrete thinking and develop the ability for abstract scientific thought. Jen proved this is when she said her favorite subject is clinical microscopy because she wants to understand the body beyond the surface. This isn't just looking at a slide of bacteria, it's abstractly understanding how those invisible microorganisms impact a patient's whole life. This is high level, sophisticated thinking, proving she has reached her full cognitive maturity. So, what can we conclude from analyzing Jen's journey? While theories say teens should become more self-absorbed, Jen's biggest motivator is to help her loved ones. This is a powerful contradiction to many Western theories and highlights the importance of the Filipino cultural value of utang na loob. Her culture is just as powerful as her biology. Our analysis identifies her exhaustion and stress-induced weight loss as risks, but her protective factor is her incredible family and peer support. As her childhood best friend, my recommendation is simple. We must protect this resilience. We must encourage Jen to practice self-care as a professional skill. It's okay to be dramatic and overacting sometimes. It's a healthy emotional release. To everyone's listening, my final thought is development isn't something that just happens. It is something we can observe, analyze, and support together. Thank you for listening.